Biljana started her career in Serbia as a children's book illustrator. She was awarded a UNICEF grant and moved to New York to study at SVA. She's been collaborating with animator Bill Plimpton, also an SVA alumnus, for 10 years on numerous projects, including the Academy Award-nominated short Guard Dog and the feature Idiots and Angels. Biljana has contributed to the Academy Award-winning documentary Freeheld, Emily Hubley's feature film The Toe Tactic, and animation segments for Hedwig and the Angry Inch. In 2012, Biljana joined TED conferences to direct and produce animation content for a new online education initiative, TED Ed. And the film that you'll see tonight is one of the TED Ed shorts that she worked on. Since then, she has directed over 40 shorts, which have won several awards. She has directed several films of her own, is a member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, and has taught at SVA. So we're going to do a brief Q&A with Adam and Biljana. So come on up.
Thank you. We're standing here?
Yeah.
Okay, hi.
So thanks for coming out and sharing your film with us tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
If we could just talk a little bit about your kind of journey towards making this film and how you got to TED Ed and this film in particular.
Right, so for those of you who don't know, is this working? Okay. TED Ed is part of the TED conference, TED Talks, if you know them. So it's an educational initiative that was started in 2012 to sort of support the educational system and provide content, animated content for those purposes. And this particular, usually we refer to them as videos. They're animated and they are on many different topics. But this particular one, to me, felt more like a film. And this is why I wanted to submit it here, because it has the emotional component to it. And it just, topic and everything kind of like came together. So I, generally we work with, we call them educators, people who are experts in their field. And on this particular one, I collaborated with two ladies, now I'm blanking their name, Bernadetta Berti and Evelyn Borgman, I think. They're both activists in the field of politics, refugees specifically, work with a lot of NGOs and really know this topic. So it was really, for me, an amazing honor to work with people like this. So basically what they do is they write a script that we later sort of adapt into more like a script for our purposes. And then on this particular video, I collaborated with a young animator, artist from France, Justine Bolstecker, who I saw her films and she contacted me. She wanted to work with me, and I sort of was waiting for the right topic. And when I saw this, when I read the script, I thought, oh, she would be perfect because her sentiment and visual style sort of, I could kind of see this film. And what she brought to this was to me just very precious. She, like we usually in the process, we go back and forth and sort of decide, how much, what we can do, since our production timeline is pretty crazy. We have about 8 weeks to finish a 5-minute video. So for those of you who are familiar with animation or filmmaking in general, you know that that's pretty crazy. But I wanted to capture some of what she can do, what she's talented, capable of, in that short production frame. So we sort of went back and forth and decided, and you will see this in the film, basically all the special effects were done in camera. So she created these sets and filmed them as like 3D sets as stop motion, and then added a layer of traditional animation, drawn animation to it. And sort of the style is, you will see, black and white and very kind of, we tried something it's difficult to talk about the film before you actually see it, I guess, but you will see that there's a lot of facts in this video, but I didn't want to make it dry. I really wanted to, like I said, add an emotional component to it without being too sentimental, and without stepping into something that is a very sensitive subject to a lot of people. And I hope, and I think we succeeded in creating something like that.
Yeah, and how do you, with a topic that's as big and as sensitive as this one, how does that affect you creatively when you're putting something like this together?
That's a good question. Well, I personally felt very connected to the topic. I come from former Yugoslavia. I came here in '97. During that time, was in the region where I'm from, there was a lot of refugees from the region, and basically, when we were making this video, this was the time of the huge crisis about the Syrian refugees. And part of it was also a lot of these refugees were going through Greece, trying to enter European Union through Serbia, through my country. And I heard a lot of stories from friends of mine who were there, who were volunteering, trying to help. It was really like that point where if they crossed the border between Serbia and Hungary, they will be in the European Union, which for a lot of them was the goal, the ultimate goal. And they were being stopped, and they were, so many stories. So I have this personal connection. And this is also, this video was released in 2016, in June 2016, which we timed to release it for the International Refugee Day. But this is also pre this administration. And in a way, it became even more relevant when the crisis here sort of became, a spotlight, which was also happening for a long time, but it became, a topic on the news. So your question was more, how did it affect me creatively? But I'd say it was difficult to work on a material like this, because for every project that I do, of course, I have to do a lot of research, and then, reading stories, looking at the pictures, and really trying to sort of detach myself from that and try to make something that is clear, that gives information to people. I don't know. I cried a lot, basically, when I was going through this.
And you mentioned you consider this one more of a short film, and why is that? Why do you think this one has that kind of resonance for you?
Well, predominantly because of the technique and the narrative. It's more like a documentary, in that sense, than the other films that we do. A lot of the times that we, depending again on the topic, it just doesn't. It doesn't sort of fall into that category, like of a, something that is documented, social, that is, contemporary in that sense. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of these.
So you could bring in a lot of the kind of tools from all the other work that you've done, not just the educational side of things with TED-Ed.
Exactly.
Great. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say to introduce the film?
No, thank you very much and enjoy.
Thank you.
And also, yes, share this. All of these videos, sorry to promote, but all of these videos exist online on TED-Ed website. If you just Google, you will find it. I'm only saying this because I find this a super important topic. So if you ever need to share the information, feel free to do that. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you both so much.